Yo,
Sorry, didn't realize I was sharing my screen there.
no, it was cool. I was like, hey, what's going on?
Hope you didn't see anything.
With these glasses, probably not.
Just kidding.
So, have you, did you just had lunch? Yeah, you're in the
I
middle.
just had a little. I just had a little snack. Um,
Okay.
but I am ready to check it out. Yeah. So you said you got an error when you tried to deploy with Replit.
hmm And when I tried a few works around, like, I thought maybe the webhook with the AW server was just making some trouble there, so I deactivated, and then I introduced some like some work around with this how you call this A AIO HTTP to kind of assign a server, replicate it, try to see if that works, but no yet. So I was like, okay, it's a great time for the
Were you able
gems
to?
to give me a hand.
Were you able to see any errors?
Yeah,
Okay,
let me share this with you.
let's start with
So
those.
yeah, so here we go. So these are the so well, I went into the logs and see, let's go to the first one. And the first one is some like some conflict terminated by other got. So I thought maybe the bot was running in the AWS still, but something was going on around there. So I went and
Mm,
deactivated the webhook, but it
yeah.
wasn't that. Then I asked this guy, I asked ChatGPT, and he suggested me that maybe that conflict it was because let me just read that straightforward for you. So what is um, yes, oh that they basically Replit um, needed to listen on a port for a web-based application. He was like was expecting something like that, so that's why I add to requirements this guy here, uh, AIO HTTP, but it didn't work. So yeah, that's all I know until now.
Okay, cool. So it failed. You guessed a couple of things that might have gone wrong, like maybe the webhook that you set up earlier was breaking it. Maybe it was missing. Maybe it needed this package. Let's start just by, can you like drag open this error screen to make it much wider?
Oh, drag open.
Yeah, I
How
think
do I do that?
just yeah, just make it. I want to see everything. Cool. Okay. Well, it'll be hard to see everything, but it looks like it might be repeating a bit. So,
Yeah. Let's see if there is another error. Yeah, this one is repeating.
yeah, so go back to that error that we just was looking at. Yeah, this is the same one.
This
Okay, so let's read this one carefully. Um, the one that says error telegram. Not that one actually, but this one, yeah. So it
so
says,
while getting
mm-hmm. So it says conflict terminated by other get updates request. Hmm.
so that was saying like make sure that only one bot instance is running. So at first I thought maybe it's because I have the DM. Like maybe I was thinking there was something on the Telegram, but it made no sense. So I thought AWS might be an issue. So I killed the webhook I had there, and after that. I'm like, all right, don't know
Yeah.
what else. And I asked
So
GPT,
yeah,
and then that was when he told me that maybe I need to help it like to link to a port because maybe it requires it. But after
got
that,
it. Yeah, so the webhook is passive. It doesn't actually, it won't actually make any requests. It only receives. And I'm pretty sure your AWS bot is pretty dead now. So um, let's have a look at the read. And as far as the port, that could be an issue. That's a good guess. Although it doesn't look like, based on this error, to me, it doesn't look like that would be the issue. So um, let's look at the deployment settings. Maybe if you go to like where it says redeploy,
redeploy. All right.
is there some kind of settings around here?
Open deployment spec. Well,
Yeah,
overview settings.
cool.
This
Okay. Yeah, let's try change deployment type. Um, that's fine because it's not working anyways. And let's set it up again. So, yeah, before we configured 1 CPU, 1 GB of RAM, we can do that again. But the thing that I'm concerned about here is here it says max number of machines.
Mhm.
And we had this at probably, we had this number was more than one when we set it up, right?
Yeah, I think it was actually this
It was three.
the same. Mhm. I know I moved to two.
Moved to
I moved
two.
it to two.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the previous.
I wonder what will happen if we set it to one and we run it again.
Let's go. All right. Run command Python 3 main p perfect. Deploy. Or port configuration might be something like this is needed. I think.
Yeah. Okay. That looks fine to me.
All right.
The reason why I think it's fine is because it was working before, and
Right.
that stuff shouldn't change too much when we deploy it.
Like just for me to learn, like what is promote as on the deploying process?
All right, let's see. So provision, build, bundle, promote. Actually, I'm not like a cloud um, DevOps engineer. These terms, provision, build, bundle, promote.
Starting out.
Promote. It's something similar to deploy, but it's a funny word actually to have here.
Yeah.
I guess because this whole process is called deploying, promoting seems to be the last part where they actually um, deploy it.
It makes sense. It makes sense because it's like starting up user application after getting some info of the previous steps. The funny thing is like all right, right now an open port was not detected,
Okay, interesting. I didn't see this before.
and then crash. But
Okay,
maybe it has something to do that I changed the code to mention this part here. Where it is. I mean,
but that's a different error than you were seeing before.
no. I
That's
mean,
the same one?
before I didn't saw this. Before I just saw the same one that you that we both
Right.
saw. But like, I'm wondering where this context handler to fetch trending. Uh, well,
One
actually,
thing we could try is
right.
one thing we could try is just running it using the green button, the green run button, and see if that's
Uh-huh.
still working.
That I test that one
That
was
does work
working
now?
actually. Yeah, it was working. Just was fine. Uh, if you're wondering,
Okay. Now we should figure out what port it's running on.
but is it necessary? Like, I'm just looking at this. Ah, because of this. You see, run the ball until you. I know. Run polling. Wait, to
Oh,
wait up.
so
Maybe because of this part here. I
so you
mean,
have
this is right now words. Well,
okay.
uh,
So you have two oh, okay. So your script basically has two types of connections. It makes a request to Telegram to check if there's any new messages, and it makes a request to YouTube to look up the videos.
mhm.
Um, but it doesn't actually take any incoming requests. It's not a web server um, because it doesn't need incoming requests. It's just checking to see if there's new messages. That helps me a lot. Let's go back to the error message that we got before. Can we still see that? Yeah.
Yeah.
So it says an open port was not detected. So yeah. Okay. So oh crap. So auto scaling is not going to work because the way that auto scaling works is it waits
It's
for
when it receives a
yeah,
message.
it waits for requests to be received, and when those requests are received, it starts up your application. But your application is always once a second needs to run. It needs to be constantly running. So um,
But let me ask you something. Why
yeah,
it's like you're just thinking like if we I don't know exactly what the start command does regarding the application. Like because if we were thinking like, all right, if the start command on the bot it's just a way to send a request to check for the message
yeah.
or not. Like I'm just trying to think like how will it work? Like how can we make it like when we like get this start message on the bot, it actually delivers a message like to the server to say like, hey, there's a request, or it cannot be possible. It can only be made with constantly checking for messages.
Ah, you had the exact same question that I had in the same moment. So, so let me show you what I am looking up. So
Let's go.
let's look at
This. There you go.
here. Yeah. So I'm on the Telegram bot API, and I just searched like Telegram API webhook, and first thing I see here is like getting updates because the way we're doing it now, we're using get updates method.
Mhm.
And the reason I searched for webhook is, well, you probably already understand this, but I think just for the sake of um, for, here, for the sake of making it super clear to anyone, like what we're doing now is like obviously. Oh, I need to make that a little bigger. But what we're doing now is you have like the phone talks to WhatsApp, and
Oh, to
then
Telegram. To,
sorry, yeah, to
yeah.
Telegram, and then we have the bot, which is basically doing this always, which is a request, and it does get information back, but it initiates the request. And that the problem with this is that Replit cannot know when to like turn this down because it always needs to be running once a second. The alternative question that you and I are both wondering is it possible to do it this way, where Telegram just pushes something to the bot?
Mhm.
And so the first way would be this one, the get updates method, which is also called like a um, um, pulling or polling. And then the other way would be webhooks, which is more of a push method. And so that is possible.
That was it similar to what we were doing or what I was doing with Lambda function? I have the webhook for the API getaway in AWS.
Honestly, I'm not sure what that was. Were you using what was the webhook for?
It's funny, but Lambda has the function has a trigger, and the trigger was the API gateway, something like that.
The
So
API
the
gateway.
API, exactly, and I needed to activate the webhook with Telegram for that one to work. So
Oh,
I was thinking, is this
yeah.
related to this?
Yeah. So it might be. Uh, I'm not entirely sure what that was, but for this, basically, this would require the code to be changed a bit, and then it should work. Um, because yeah, it should work. It might be a tiny bit slower because the reason why is because Replit will still turn off your um, your deployment. It will turn it off or turn it down, but it will always automatically turn it back on because it gets the incoming message from Telegram saying, "Hey, wake up." Um, so that's a fix. And then the other possible fix to would be to just use fly.io, and that is like it is like Replit in that it can host for free. It can host Python stuff for free. It's different in that it doesn't come with an editor, and that it also it doesn't turn off your stuff as well. And then they have this.
I
Um,
was like, just as a question, now that you are
mhm.
telling me this, mm, would you like to see the previous code for the Lambda function? Because I have the intuition that I might be
Yeah,
using something very similar to this.
yeah. Let's do that. I'd like to see that.
Okay, let me. screen, and then let's go for window. There we go. So as you see, this is a bit different. We have a login for debugging. Let's go to the part. Retrieve API, initialize the bot Telegram bot, the token, your services. Let's see the process. Chat ID. Maybe this async def
Mm-hmm.
would be related to what we are talking.
Yeah, and do you have some code that where did you set up the webhook?
The webhook, I just set up locally, the webhook was like the API gateway from Amazon and my Telegram uh, token, put it
Yeah.
together in some way, and then I just use the curl from my CMD to activate it. Curl F.
Oh, really? What was the command that you used to set up the webhook?
Let me show it to you.
Yeah.
Give me just a second. I have this so sharing, and let's share all this. Uh, Great. So instructions to activate the lambda function. So yeah, the command was this like curl F, and then
Oh. Oh. Uh-huh. Yeah, so this is very much related. Um and the way that you've done it, I believe,
sorry.
that's fine. I'll just share my screen here. So basically, the way that I think you've done it would actually might also be possible to do in the Python code as well, using
Mhm.
set webhook. Maybe, but I'm not sure if what's the Python library that you are using, that you're importing from for Telegram?
Let me see with Telegram. Because uh, Ace no Essential
Oh, you have from
from
Telegram. You have
from
import Telegram.
Telegram import update. From Telegram
Okay,
import update. That was.
okay, cool. So here on my screen, I'm gonna go to um, Python package repository, and then I'm gonna look for Telegram. And now I'm going to look. Okay, it's always promising when the latest version is 0.0.1. um,
Lovely.
let's see. And this is a GitHub repository that doesn't
But I
exist.
think you are not sharing the screen of what you're doing right
Oh,
now.
sorry. Let me go back. Let me go back here. So I was not sharing the right one here. So here. So yeah, so I would just search. I went to this website, I searched for Telegram. So this should be. How is that possible though? Because pip install Telegram. Oh, you know what it is? This is not the right package. Can you show me again your
Yeah,
requirements.txt?
yeah. 1 second.
Yeah.
Um, what is this? And
Okay, so
then the requirements, Python Telegram bot.
yeah, okay. So back to business. I'll put in here now Python Telegram bot. And when we import Telegram, this is what we're importing. And this is much better rather than 2015. We'll
2015.
have something from 2024. It's amazing that stuff is that's still there, you know. But so this this is what you're using to call like get updates and stuff. And I just want to see what's there. Okay, so here's their wiki. How are you calling get updates from your code?
Let me tell you.
Or what are you calling exactly to
Uh, get updates. Let me see. Are you seeing my screen?
I just see the requirements.txt still.
Ah, okay. No,
Mm.
that's not the case. Uh,
Okay.
so in this case, but I need to mention something. This code was functional until the point that remember that when we talked to the bot on a group, then it didn't recognize the fact that he was pinned because when he got his name pinned, he thought it was another command. Like that's why it always give an error code of you got a invalid region code. And I'm assuming that because I guess it was a message sent um, to the function. So yeah, just to mention that. But
But
yeah,
I don't.
this is the
Wait, in which case did it break?
like every time like oh let me just actually here. This is functional until certain point. Like it breaks when like if I'm just pinning myself. To give you an example, it was just like oh
Yeah.
like hey start select region and then perfect it worked. But when I was here in the groups, every time let's see if I have an example with something. So here it was a great example. So uh, no, no, no. See if I can show it. Okay, how delete. Okay, it was something like this. I can just do it. So if I do start, do you see here that is spinning the bot like
Yeah.
instead of only size? Okay, so the bot every time this happened, so
Yeah.
this part the I am blah blah blah. He always thought that this was a command. I don't know why. So I couldn't figure out that part. It was okay. It will just say, hey, invalid region code, and then you will put the region code, and it will work. But but that's why I knew that this was a different process than the one we were doing in Replit, because Replit is like the bot is reading in a different way the messages.
Oh.
That's what I remember.
Oh. 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 Okay. Uh,
That's therefore this code has a different way to read, like with the chat, like a different way to retrieve the messages, I guess,
so
like this.
you did get the webhook working, but that added a bug where when you clicked start, it tried to run. Oh, it
And I
tried to.
and I couldn't find a workaround because then Amazon. That was the time where Amazon blocked my account.
I'm trying to think why that would change between the two versions of the code though, because the one you're working in Replit now, it doesn't have that bug.
Let me. Yeah, I know exactly, but the reason why it doesn't have the bug is because uh, I guess the way it tags, it retrieves the messages from the bot is different. It's like in that case, the bot is like kind of reading all the time, and it just process
Uh,
different the command. The
okay.
first command it processes different. I guess
Yes.
that in the second code it just send a message to the servers. It works a different way,
Mm-hmm.
I guess.
Okay, got it. So this this is now becoming clearer. So we have, let me go back to my own screen here. So we have then two options. Like we have two paths. One is Replit and push. So webhooks. And then the other one would be something like fly.io, pull, or polling webhooks. So that means that whenever a message or command is received, then Telegram sends a HTTP request to our bot, which is actually a web server. And then the second one, whenever, oh, there's no whenever, every 1 second, our bot sends a HTTP request to Telegram API, gets back any new messages, text. And then, yeah, we have one small bug here. Needs to detect commands properly. And then we also had, oh yeah, also, actually that was more for this one. We had another small bug. Can only run one bot instance at a time, because otherwise two instances try get updates at the same time, which causes an interrupt. And that was the error that we had before when we changed from 2 to 1. So the reason why I wanted to write this out is because, like, it's not like one is better option than the other. This is the kind of trade-off that we have to make in software engineering all the time. And they're both actually workable options.
What are your thoughts about that? What would you go for?
Yeah, like you've kind of made progress on both. So I'm trying to think. I would really break it down. So like the pros of the push method is that basically this is a slightly more this is a more scalable, more high-end way to do it, because in theory, your bot only runs when it's
When
needed,
needed.
right?
Mm-hmm. That's the most
Otherwise,
efficient.
it sleeps. Yeah, efficiency, exactly. And then that's the main pro. The con here is like architecturally a bit more complicated, like for that, because yeah, it needs to Yeah, it's just a little bit more complicated because you need to set up the webhook and then listen for the webhook. And then here the pros are basically it's it's overall it's simpler. And then the cons are it's well, I think the main con here is we have to leave Replit or pay $20 a month.
Uh-huh.
And then another pro here is that's basically it.
Like the
This
cost is almost zero for the moment. It's very
either
nice.
everything is zero. Like everything is possible to do for free, but this is not possible to do for free on Replit. And the reason, long story short, is that there's millions of people around the world, including a lot of teenagers, using Replit for their personal projects, and Replit just can't handle that. Uh,
Totally. I mean, that makes sense.
Fly.io is a little bit newer, and there's fewer teenagers that have figured out how to use it. So um, that's pretty
I,
much
I,
it.
I, I guess they are doing it until something breaks.
Yeah, it's like they they're not. It's not costing them much money, Fly.io, to do this. So my thoughts are, I feel like they're both good options, but I also just feel like, I feel like they're both good options. Mm, I'm guessing you might prefer. What do you prefer?
Mm, if this was a matter of I need to set up this now,
Yeah,
running, then pulling is no brainer. But since this inside of making it more efficient requires a better architecture, is a better opportunity to learn, I guess. The other one is just about to like put this here and how
yeah.
this work here and go. The other is like, oh, okay, now it's about architecture. So I I will choose the other path, like the webhook, to learn because that opens a new opportunity.
Well, you're learning fast, so should be fine. And yeah, I think that makes sense.
So how do we can we use this setting that I have for Lambda? The thing is, in my mind, how I was working in Amazon is like Amazon provide me the AP getaway, which was the trigger of the function.
Yeah,
What would be equal to this now in Replit
right. So
to set the webhook?
Amazon had an API gateway, right?
Mhm.
Um, and the AWS API gateway is basically it's pretty much just a simple web server. That probably what it does is it waits for a request, and then when it gets a request, it runs the Python script, I think. So what we could do is let's go back to let's go to the code that you were running on AWS.
Right. Here we are.
Yeah. And uh, what's the part that gets called when from API gateway?
Look it. Lambda. Okay.
Okay.
What was that JSON? Yeah.
So let me just go through this because it's a little bit new to me. So it's just a function, and then it takes event and context. And the context we're not using, but the event contains all of the data from Telegram that needs to get passed in. Got it. And okay, yeah, and then you run the async because you have to, because it has to do with making a request to YouTube. Is that it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and then when that's
Yeah.
complete, after a few seconds, we return, and then the Lambda function is, the Lambda is then done. Okay. Yeah, so it's going to be like not so different from that with Replit, I think. Like actually, this is a great architecture the way it is. And the bug that you were having is quite a small one. So it seems like it could be easily fixed. Um,
That'll be cool because I was like, oh, then like,
yeah.
could they figure it out how to make it like understand what was a command and what was his name, its name.
Yeah.
Funny, but yeah, I'm
No,
ready
we
to
can,
work around.
I'm sure that's possible. Like this code is so good, like I almost just want to like spin up another Lambda with this because it's perfect. But let's just do it. Let me explain how I think I would do it on Replit.
Okay, so,
Um, so where am I here? So I was here. Let me explain how I think I would do it on Replit. I would just do to this. I would say, so the way that Replit auto scaling works is I believe it will just um, instead of like a Lambda where it directly passes in the request, it will start up the server and then it will let the request pass on to the server. So the simplest like, so just say, write a simple web server in Python. Like the simplest might be something like this. And but we might want to change a couple things here. Like you had, so yeah, first, like this should probably be port 80. And yeah, and we need to make sure that the URL that is coming in is matched with the webhook that we set up. Because you did configure that webhook. Okay, yeah, and then I would just like, I want to add in, so make the port 80, and then I want to add an endpoint,
exactly the endpoint for
which
the
is, I think
server.
is it get? It's a get endpoint,
I think so.
or get or post.
Mm, it was post
Was it post?
like that one, but I'm just guessing. I just remember that was post. That was the configuration. Yeah.
Oh, the one that we just looked at, the API gateway.
Like the IP gateway configuration was post. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And processes the body. So let me just set this up. I think here we go. Yeah, I think the easiest way to learn something like this will probably be just to test it with like a new server. So let's kind of run this basic server. This is like too much as well because we don't want the get. We just want the post.
By the way, just get
Yeah.
What does get does?
Get versus post.
Yeah.
It's two different types of requests, of HTTP requests. When you normally fetch a web page, that's a get. So when I go to google.com and I get the HTML back, that's a get request. When you submit a form with your credit card or any other kind of form, that's a post request. They're just kind of used for different things, but in reality, there's not much of a difference. Like in actually how they work, there's very little difference. Yeah.
I see.
So let's see. Yeah, post can send. Basically, post can send data that's not in the URL, whereas when you send a get, all of the data goes through the URL. So post. Yeah, so anyways, we won't use this one, but then what I could do is I can get this URL, and then I'm gonna share my screen better to include my terminal on my Mac, and then I'll curl that. Okay, we got the get. So yeah, when we do a curl like without anything specific, then we get the get one. We want to do like a post. So I think
That's curl F.
Sorry?
No, I just remember that curl F was used to set up the webhook.
Is it a big F or a little f?
Little F.
Big F?
I-
Or little f?
No, little F. There you go.
It's still a
Still get. Maybe because we are not. Why?
There's I mean, I forget this one. I would forget this every day, even if I did it every day. This is what I'm looking up now.
Oh yeah. Suppose yeah.
There's
Right.
probably like 7 ways to do it. The way
No. I guess that the F it was to see if the web hook was working and to get the information from it, and the expose. Yeah, I just remember it now. It
Cool.
was. You're right.
Cool. So what we're gonna do is we're going to do like the same thing as we did. So that's pretty much it. And then you know what I'd like to do? Because we've already been on for almost another hour, is I would like to just make sure that this is working with deployments. So I'm going to set this down to 1, deploy. Like obviously this one should probably work fine. So here, so yeah, then when you set up your webhook, it's something like this, right? Yeah, so this is, we're gonna have a new URL, and
so it will be the mix of that and URL endpoints and the Telegram token.
yeah, a mix of that endpoint and what?
I know. Yeah, I think that was it.
Yeah. So here, it's given me this new URL. So I would actually be like, our new endpoint is going to be this one. So when it's actually deployed, and now it's giving invalid JSON data because there's no,
Of course.
yeah, it's not, I haven't actually, there's no message. But so there's not really a way to test this properly without like waiting 15 minutes or half an hour for it to turn off, I think. But yeah, like I think this shows you pretty much what has to be done to get the AWS one to work on deployments, right?
Yes. Yes, exactly.
Cool. And the error that we're having now would also be fixed if you would just add a web server to it, because the error you're getting now is there's no web server running. However, that web server would be turned off after half an hour and it wouldn't turn back on automatically until you add the webhook like properly. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah, I get it.
Can I just like add you to this one as well? Just
Sure. Sure.
oh, it's Solar Nomad.
D solar D dot solar
Uh-huh.
dot nomads with S. Yeah. That one. Yes.
Yeah, actually, this is kind of silly. I would also just probably easier is just to do it like this, like and then create a, because it's only this one file, and then I can put that in there. That's probably an easier way to share it. Cool. So yeah, do you think you could maybe just see if you can get that running on your own, and then let me know how that goes?
Sure. Just last question. So this the server, should I put it in an independent file or should I add it on my main dot p white file?
Oh, yeah. So the server is going to be running in the same file.
Okay.
Yeah. It's going to be the same Lambda that you had. It's going to be all in one file. It's not too complicated.
Perfect. Then yeah, I get it. I will get it done then.
Cool.
I like to move, so I get something interesting for next time. So, because I guess once we have this setup, then the fun part will be the next chapter, which is something that will be more new. Like, what do we do?
Yeah, we have everything now. Now it's just setting up and gluing things together.
I'll get that done today, and then we are ready to. And I will let you know once I have it. I will just say, bro, I have it. Like, take a look, check. Okay.
Yo,
Thank
hey
you.
Julian, how's it going?
Yeah. I guess that we are aware.
Cool. Let us know if you have any thoughts. Yeah, no, good session. This has been pretty interesting.
Same here, James. Thank you so much, man. And yeah, I guess I will get a new Telegram token. They don't need to worry about that in case it just appears somewhere during the video.
A new Telegram?
Token. Remember that at some moment in the video I was showing you my code, like how the function was, and at that second it appears. Maybe that's why Julian was saying that.
Oh,
Perhaps, I
Julian's got
guess.
your
But
token
don't,
now.
but don't worry, we will change that one
Change quick.
in a second. Yeah,
But
exactly.
is that a secret? Isn't that supposed to be in your secrets?
Yeah, but remember that when I was showing you the text, like my text file, it have it there on the webhook. So for a moment, it was public on the
Oh, it
video.
was on the CLI.
Yeah, I know, but I was like, okay, I will change it in a second. But maybe that's what Julian was talking about.
I
As
also
in,
had
like,
to
yeah, you.
after our last stream. After our first stream, I also had to figure out how to reset all of my Twilio keys as well.
Oh,
It's good.
it is good practice. We're gonna learn to do a better, more secure stream.
This is just
Stream
this is just security things that we should be doing anyways. It's fine.
always, always. But yeah, thank you, Julian, to point that out, and I will get
Yeah.
that fixed in a second. And I will let you know. I will keep you updated. I will just go now to see if I can set up all this myself. And thank you, James, man. Has been so fun. Spend.
Yeah, good. Looking
Now
forward
you're
to
gonna make music, I guess. Are you going to
what?
make music now?
Am I gonna make
Amazing.
music now? Yeah, I'll make a song today. I'll see what I can do. I'll I'll learn something.
Perfect. See you then. Thank you for
See ya.
watching. Ciao, ciao.
Ciao.